Hi all, a warm welcome to all of you in the today's daily current affairs session on EduTap. And my dear learners, I hope that all of you are healthy and preparing well for our upcoming exams. And in the today's session, we are going to discuss the top PIB news from the month of December 2021. And today the topic of the discussion is Consumer Protection Direct Selling Rules 2021. So before starting the session, I would like to tell you that we are running a New Year sale, the date of which has been extended till 31st of December 2021. And in this sale, we are offering flat 50% off on our various courses. To avail the discount on the courses, you are required to use the code New Year, and this code is only valid till 31st of December 2021. So now let's move on to the session. Let's get started. So here is the question before all of you, and this question has been based on the Consumer Protection Direct Selling Rules 2021. Okay, so why we are discussing this particular question? Because recently the government of India has notified the rules regarding the Consumer Protection Direct Selling Rules 2021. So before directly discussing the rules, let's understand that what exactly the direct selling is, the direct selling entity and the direct seller. Okay, so let us understand this with the help of an example. So let us say that there is a manufacturer M. It sells his goods to the distributor. From the distributor, the goods went to the wholesaler, and from the wholesaler, the goods moves to the retailer, and finally from the retailer, the consumer purchases the goods. So normally this is the chain that is being followed. But when we remove all these people, that is all these middlemen from this particular chain, that is the manufacturer M directly sells his goods to the consumer. This is called the direct selling. So when we talk about the direct selling, see, direct selling is the way in which a manufacturer do not sell his or her goods at a permanent retail place, but apart from that, what they do, they just sell their goods at the house of the consumer or the workplace. Okay, with the proper explanation and the demonstration of the goods and services, and that is called the direct selling. And when we talk about the direct selling entity, see, when we talk about direct selling entity, for example, here manufacturer M is the direct selling entity. Direct selling entity is the organization which is not involved in any pyramid scheme or the money circulation scheme. Instead, they sell their goods or offer to sell their goods through the direct sellers. And who are these direct sellers? Direct sellers are those people which have been authorized or appointed by these direct selling entities in order to undertake the business of selling the goods directly to the consumer. For example, this manufacturer M, that is a direct selling entity, it has appointed a direct seller, this person, and he has come to the place of the consumer in order to sell the goods on behalf of this direct selling entity, and that is the reason that this is direct selling entity and this is the direct seller. So I really hope that this particular definition is very much clear to all of you, and that is really very much sufficient to understand the rules which have been notified by the government regarding the direct selling, consumer protection direct selling rules 2021. So now, my dear learners, when we talk about the very first point, that is the rules have been notified by the Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution. Okay, and these rules, the next important part that you are required to remember from here is that the rules will be applicable to what entities? See, these rules will be applicable to all the goods and services which are bought or sold through the direct selling, and apart from that, this will be applicable to all models of direct selling, also to all direct selling entities which are offering goods and services to the consumers in India, and these are also be applicable to the all forms of unfair trade practices across all the models of the direct selling. And when we talk about the deadline of the compliance, that these entities are required to comply with these rules, then my dear learners, all these entities are required to comply with the rules within the 90 days of these, or within the date of the 90 days when these rules have been notified through the Gazette of India. Okay, now moving on to the next part, that is these particular rules under these particular rules, direct sellers as well as the direct selling entities who are using e-commerce in order to sell their goods, are required to comply with the requirements of the Consumer Protection E-commerce Rules 2020. Apart from that, one more very important point that you are required to remember from these particular rules are that these particular rules prohibits the direct sellers as well as the direct selling entities from promoting a pyramid scheme or enrolling any person to such scheme or to participate in such arrangement in the garb of doing direct selling business. And apart from that, it also prohibits them to participate in the money circulation scheme in the garb of doing direct selling businesses. And now when we talk about the monitoring, that whether these rules have been complied or not by all these entities, then for this, state governments have been given the responsibility to set up a mechanism to monitor or supervise the activities of the direct sellers as well as direct selling entity. So I hope that all these parameters regarding these rules are very much clear. That is, which ministry has notified the rules will be applicable to what goods and services, then what is the deadlines for the compliance, then what are the prohibitions under this particular rules which have been notified by the Ministry of Consumer Affairs and Public Distribution, and how the monitoring will be done. That is, the state governments are going to set up a mechanism to monitor or supervise the activities of direct sellers and direct selling entity. Now when we talk about the grievance redressal, so this particular rule also tells that the direct selling entities will be liable for the grievances which will be arise out of the sale of goods and services which are being done by authorized or appointed direct sellers which are being appointed by the direct selling entities. And apart from that, all these direct selling entities are required to establish an adequate grievance redressal mechanism, and they are also required to display the current and updated name, the email address, the telephone number of the such officer on its website as well. And my dear learners, when we talk about the person who will be responsible for ensuring the compliance, then all these entities are required to appoint a nodal officer who will be responsible for ensuring the compliance with the provisions of this act. And when we talk about the record maintenance, then all these entities have been directed to maintain a record of all the direct sellers which are included, and the details of these direct sellers are also required to be maintained by these direct entities. So I hope that this particular part is very much clear to all of you. And now let's move on to the question. So this question was being based on the Consumer Protection Direct Selling Rules 2021. So in order to answer the question, first of all, you are required to see the demand of the question, as this question is demanding the correct statement in relation with the Consumer Protection Direct Selling Rules 2021. So here you are required to identify the correct statements out of these three statements which are mentioned here, and then tell me in the comment section below that what exactly is the right answer to this question. So moving on to this particular statements, the very first statement says that these rules have been notified by the Ministry of Consumer Affairs. So as per our discussion, this statement is correct. Now moving on to the next statement. The next statement says that all the existing direct selling entities are mandated to comply these rules within a period of 100 days. But as per our discussion, this period was not 100 as it was 90 days. So that means that this statement becomes incorrect. And now let's move on to the third statement. The third statement says that as per the rules, only central government can set up a mechanism to monitor or supervise the activities. But as per our discussion in the today's session, as per these rules, state governments are responsible to set up a mechanism to monitor or supervise the activities of these direct sellers or the direct selling entity. So that means the third statement is also incorrect. So the right answer to this question will be option A, that is only statement 1 is correct in relation with the Consumer Protection Direct Selling Rules 2021. So I hope that this particular question is very much clear. Now let's move on to the homework question of this particular session. See, the homework question is the grievance redressal officer which is being appointed by the direct selling entity has to acknowledge the receipt of any consumer complaint within a period of dash of the receipt of such complaint and redress the complaint normally within a period of 1 month. So here you are required to fill in the blank that what exactly will come in this particular blank, whether it is 48 working hours, 24 working hours, 72 working hours, or 5 days, or none of the above. So choose the right answer in the comments from these options and answer the question in the comment section below. Now let's move on to the practice question number 2. So the next topic of our today's discussion is that the Ministry of Skill Development has recently launched a project. See, a project has been recently launched by the Ministry of Skill Development, and this project aims to upskill the cane and bamboo artisans of which one of the following states. See, for one of the states, in order to upskill the cane and bamboo artisans, the Ministry of Skill Development has launched a project. So here in this question, you are just required to identify the name of the state for which the artisans of which will be upskilled in this project launched by the Ministry of Skill Development. And now let's find out the answer to this question from the news itself. So as you can see from the headline itself that the Ministry of Skill Development has launched a project to upskill the cane and bamboo artisans of Nagaland. So the right answer to that question is Nagaland. Okay, so what exactly is the objective of this particular project? The objective is, as the headline itself says, that to upskill the local weavers and artisans to enhance their productivity through the RPL assessment. Here RPL stands for recognition of the prior learning, which is one of the components under the Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana. And what exactly is the objective of this project? The objective is to upskill over 4,000 craftsmen and artisans of the Nagaland. So what will be done after providing these particular artisans and craftsmen by upskilling them? See, it will lead to the skill development of these people. It will also lead to enhanced competency level of these artisans, and then they are having the access in order to get the access to the sustained livelihood programs and also to increase their technical knowledge and skills. So that's how it is really going to impact these workers. And my dear learners, when we talk about the right answer, the right answer to that question is Nagaland. So here in the news, the Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana was also there. So now it is a homework for all of you. You are going to tell me in the comment section below that in which year this particular scheme was being launched, which is the nodal ministry of this scheme, and which is the scheme will be implemented by which one of the following organizations. And all this is the homework for all of you for the today's session. So do answer these questions in the comment section below. Now when we talk about the answer to this question, the right answer is Nagaland. We have already discussed. Now let us move on to the next question from our today's session. And the next question is, in this question, you are required to name the COVID-19 vaccine to which the emergency use authorization has been recently granted by CDSCO, which is the India's drug regulator. So whether it was Covovax, Corbevax, Corovax, both 1 and 2, that is both Covovax and Corbevax, or both Corbevax and Corovax. Okay, so my dear learners, as per the recent announcement made by the Union Minister of Health and Family Welfare, that is Dr. Mansukh Mandaviya, he has announced that our Indian drug regulator CDSCO has recently approved 2 COVID vaccines as well as a pill. And these name of the 2 COVID vaccines are the Corbevax vaccine and the Covovax vaccine. Okay, and when we talk about the pill, the name of that particular pill is antiviral drug Molnupiravir. So these were the 2 vaccines, and the pill which has been recently granted authorization, the emergency use authorization by the Indian drug regulator, that is Central Drug Standard Control Organization. And when we talk about the right answer to this question, the right answer to this question will be option D, that is both 1 and 2 is the right answer. So I hope that this news is also very much clear to all of you. And now this is a time of the Gooey question, and today's Gooey question is based on the India Water Impact Summit. See, if you have seen our dedicated session on the India Water Impact Summit, then it will be really a cakewalk for you to answer this question. But if you have not seen that question, that particular session, then you can just go back to that session, the link to which has been already provided. And my dear learners, then you can just come to this particular question and answer the question in the comment section below, that what exactly, which one of the following statements are correct about the India Water Impact Summit. Okay. So now, my dear learners, if you are still not subscribed to our YouTube channel, kindly subscribe it and press the bell icon to receive all the latest updates of the courses and videos offered by us. And you can also join our Telegram channel to get the access to the PDF of these sessions. To join the Telegram channel, kindly click on the link given in the description below. Now, when we talk about the star performers from our previous session are Yukti Gupta and Nilesh Suryavanshi, and I am really glad to see their names. These people are really very consistent with their answers, and continuously they are providing the right answers to all the homework questions that we are asking in our sessions. So if you also want your name to be mentioned here in the upcoming session, then and to become the star performer of this session, then you are required to answer the homework question that we have asked in the today's session in the comment section below. So my dear learners, that was all from the today's session, and I really believe that today's session was useful and fruitful to all of you. And if you are having any queries, then you can drop us a mail at hello@edutap.co.in, and you can also call us at 8146207241. So thank you for joining us. Wish you all happy learning.